Papa is what we call him as grandchildren. Papa was a huge part of one of the reasons that I'm in the military. When I was young, I was a little bit of a rambunctious little kid. And my mom used to say, you know, my father used to learned a lot of discipline from the military. You should join. At the time, everyone thought it was pretty weird that mom would send her boy to join the military. But my experience in the military helped me understand Papa in a new way. I saw what it looked like to take those elements of discipline and bring those back into family. And I think Papa was a great example of what it looks like to come home from service and bring those principles and translate those principles into a family, into those core ideals of leadership and honor and selfless service and courage, and really bring those to a family and then use those as values to shape them. In retrospect, I think that was a big part of who he was. And as I got older and as I served in the military longer, and actually currently I'm a chaplain, I think it was a big part that we could connect in that area. There was a lot of times that I felt like I got where he was coming from because I know that background. One thing I think was really interesting about Papa is that he started to really think about war a lot more as we got older. Having been in conflict for the last 14 years and continually deploying soldiers and our military, he thought about it. What did it mean to him? How war had changed since he was young. And he generally had great positive experiences about his military service, but often thought about how different it would be to serve today. We had a lot of conversations about what does it look like to be a person of peace and also a person who protects the peace. I think it speaks to the depth of who he was and the character of who he was. And he'll always be remembered for that in my mind. He's a big part of who I am and also a big part of my service. That on some level I feel like I'm continuing the service that he did, 70 years ago. So there's 19 grandkids. So there's 7 children, right? Each of them had kids, and we're spread out all over the United States, right? So the oldest has a daughter who lives in New York. The second oldest is my mother, who had 4 kids, who 2 live in California, 2 here in Indiana, and then it goes then who's next? Then Stevie, yeah. So then Steve, it's hard to keep up. There's 7 of them.
My parents are both 1 and 9.
Yeah, so you're like, who's next? I know there are a bunch of middle kids.
There's a lot of them in there.
That's right. There's a lot of middle children. So the majority of our family still lives in Fort Wayne, but everybody's pretty spread out. A testament to Papa, though, is that it was really important for him to have a family and to invest in the family. So everyone makes it a big deal to make sure that we come back at least once or twice a year to all get together, share stories, celebrate time. One of the famous stories in our family is that happy hour in our family is actually happy. We have a happy hour where we celebrate, and Papa was a huge fan of the happy hour. And that's a big part of our culture here in our family, that we like to celebrate each other and like to celebrate spending time with one another. And that was something that Papa really found important and invested in all of us. And so 19 grandchildren, 7 children, 7 spouses, you get a pretty rowdy gang. And it's nice to come together, and especially with the passing of Papa, we're also celebrating his life, 93 years of life. And as sad as we'll all be, I think there's also something to just acknowledging that this is the family that he created, and it was built on love and his love for Nana, and now we get to honor that today.